A Moment with Tyranny podcast. This episode and conversation is powered by Homes with Tyranny.
Hello, hello, hello. It's a moment with Tyranny again. Yay. We are really rolling with our episodes. We've had a great time. We've had great guests. We've had great conversations. And today is no exception. So today's topic is going to be kind of deep, a little heavy, but it's going to be just a moment with Tyranny and her guest. And the topic today is friend or frenemy. So we're going to just jump right in there. My guest today is Crystal. Chris, go ahead and introduce yourself, who you
My
are.
name is Chris. Hi, my name is Crystal Pace. Looking forward to sharing a conversation with you on this topic. Think you'll have fun and relate to a lot of it.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So let's just get into it and let's get juicy. And because, I've experienced this and I know that everybody has had something that kind of relates to a friend or frenemy because the fact of the fact that we're human and we have to deal with different people. And I don't know, I know you had it up and I was just wondering the definition of frenemy. People really don't know what that is. And you have your friend and you have your frenemy. What is the definition, Crystal, of a frenemy?
Okay, what I imagine there's a lot of slightly different variations on this, but it's someone who is in the position in your life, holding that position as a friend, or they want to believe that, but they're not acting in a friendly way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They might be competitive with you, or find themselves, behaving in ways that is not mutually beneficial.
Yeah, kind of little backstabbing, kind of little, look at me, kind of take credit for anything that's happening. I always want to overshadow, and that's kind of what a frenemy is to me, and I've had, people where you think, oh, okay, she's my friend, but behind my back, she's not my friend, and in front of my face, she's my friend sometimes, but you can stop and sometimes see that a person might not be such a friend and more of a frenemy by their behavior when crowds come around, when other people come around, when promotion comes around, when opportunities that may open a door, are they pulling you along? Are they kind of tucking you behind under the carpet? And those are the kind of experiences that I had, but I've had some really great friends, and I want, not to just focus on the friend and me part, but a friend, Crystal. I've had some really good friends in my life that will tell me the truth. They will help me. They'll let me know when there's opportunities. They do just the opposite of a frenemy. So tell me, you have some good friends in your life, people. What are your good friends like?
Well, I mean, it's just like what you said. Friends always have your best interest at heart, and they will go above and beyond the average person, and it doesn't even seem to bother them. They're just so generous with their kind acts, and they watch out for you, and they do everything that they would want from someone else.
Yeah, yep, yep. They're available too. I think,
They're available. Yeah.
yeah, and I think that's important because sometimes we really want to confide in people, and you can't confide in everybody. And I think most of us, honestly, Crystal, I think that most of us have more frenemies than we have friends. And I have a small circle of friends, and I do that on purpose because I know the larger your is, and I believe this, the larger your circle is, the more frenemies you invite into your life.
I agree. I agree. There's a lot of people that, like I said, they sneak in under the radar. They smile, they're by your side, they're flattering. But when it's time to do something that's going to promote you, they start withholding that.
Yeah,
And I think that comes from a place of lack in that person, a
yeah.
place of insecurity, and needing to prove themselves to be better for some reason, when really there's enough for everybody. So why do we need to compete? Why don't we just compete with ourselves and be the best that we can be? And then when you look around, you can help somebody else who might be struggling.
Exactly. I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And you and like you just said, there's enough for everybody. So don't if you're going to compete, we should just compete with ourselves to be better, like tomorrow, be better today than I was yesterday, and just be in competition with myself, and try to help out. But you know what? The other thing that I've also learned about being a good friend is trying to be there and trying to help and trying to be open to give a maybe constructive criticism, or a good opinion that helps someone advance or grow. If you see me doing wrong, Crystal, and you're really my friend, you're not going to well, how does our mom say it? Friends won't help you do
Wrong.
the
They won't help you do wrong. They will check you. They
yeah,
have the courage to check you and
yeah,
not be afraid of losing you.
right. And a
And
real
that's
friend is not going to lose. You're not going to lose a real friend.
right. I think that we both know, whoever, you're in a friendship relationship with, you both know that you value each other.
Exactly.
And it hurts to part ways with someone that belongs there.
Yeah.
And so that's how you know. Now, sometimes it hurts to part ways with people that don't belong there, but that's when you start having to get the little recipe book out and say, hey, well, does this person have all the ingredients of a friend? Do they put me first? Do they have my back? Are they honest with me? Do they, give as much as they take? Because we benefit from each other's, time and attention and resources.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
are they open with me and honest with me?
Yeah.
So when they pass that test, you're not going to just let that kind of person slip, right?
That's yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing is that person, is this relationship 50-50, or is this relationship a 80-20? You got to weigh those things too, because if you have someone that's taking a lot, and when it's time for them to give, you ain't give, you're not receiving it, then you got to see, what side are you on, my friend, or are you on my frenemy?
Some people say that, people are friends and family are liabilities. I've heard that said before.
Mhm. And that could
But
be true.
and it can be true because they'll take up a lot of your time, sometimes your money even, uh,
Yes, that's true.
they'll put you through some things, um, but also if you start looking at what they bring to you,
Mhm.
and maybe you want to make a list, and maybe you don't make a list, but you start to see that they are indeed bringing something of value to you, then they become an asset. They're
Yes.
no longer on that just liability. Everybody's going to be on a liability, because it could be that they're just taking time.
Yeah.
At a minimum, that's all that you would be taking, is just the time. But if you can see that they're bringing other things of value, then you can say, well, you know what? They net out as an asset. Everybody's got something that you have to, invest in them, but they net out as an asset,
Yeah.
bringing more than they take.
Yep. Yep. And there's times and seasons in people's lives that maybe they may seem like they're taking a lot at a moment, but you got to look at the big picture, because I might be going through something. I might have lost a mate, I might have lost a family member, a child, and stuff. So I'm going to lean heavily on my friend during that period. But you know there's going to be times where it is going to be a little unbalanced, but the whole picture has to balance. But if you have somebody that only time you hear from them is, Crystal, I need you to help me pay a bill or catch me up, or that's the only time you're hearing from me. No, I don't think so. Another word that we have to learn in our vocabulary is the word no, because a real friend understands the word no. A frenemy does not.
That's true.
So,
That's true. And you have a choice in being in a relationship with a frenemy or not.
exactly.
I remember a friend of me at work. I'll say, everybody at work is not a friend. Most of the time, you try to keep it business only, but some people want to be that so-called friend. When I needed some notes for a meeting, my frenemy, the one that sticks close by me and is in competition with me, but pretends that they care about me. I asked for some notes because I hadn't been in the previous meeting and I wanted to just kind of brush up. Their notes weren't good enough to share. Oh, but then when I went to someone that they respected and wanted to impress and got the same notes and went to the copier to make copies so that I could be ready for the meeting, then they felt like, oh my gosh, what have I done? They wanted to run and make up for it and apologize. Well, that hurt them. So I decided at that point that they were not my friend, because who would do that if that's not a friendly act. And so they actually realized what they had done. That's the fortunate thing. And then started trying to be more helpful, because they could see that I cut it off at that point. I don't have to be in a friendly relationship. I can be in a professional relationship, but I don't have to be in a friendly relationship with a person just because they chose me.
Yeah, exactly. Which leads up into my other question that I was going to say is, so if you identify that someone is your frenemy, what do you do with that person? Do you continue to entertain them? Do you let them know, hey, do you share with them that, this relationship are great, isn't so great, or do you just kind of let it fade away? How would you handle that?
Well, I'm I'm my personality type. I'm confrontational, and I don't do it in an aggressive way, but I'm very direct.
Hmm.
And so if you step on my toe, I'm going to say, ouch. I'm going to let you know the pain that you just caused me. And my expectation is that you're going to correct that.
Yeah,
And if not, there's more distance that I can put between us so that I don't have to feel that pain.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Sometimes people don't realize what they've done. And so I'm a communicator. And sometimes that's a good thing. And sometimes someone might say that's a flaw, but I always count it as a good quality, because I just believe in being open and honest with all my people. And that's how I know when I have a friend in front of me versus a frenemy, is because that open and honest communication, there's just nothing that tops that when it comes to really seeing a person for what they are and who they are.
yeah. And I agree with you, because again, if you have a friend, you should be able to communicate with them and say, hey, you stepped on my toes. Now, and some people don't want to say things because they feel like they're going to hurt a person's feelings and stuff. But how uncomfortable is that making you feel, knowing that you are being hurt? And maybe the person doesn't know that they hurt your feelings, but if you let them know that, you hurt my feelings, maybe they'll stop. But if you tell me, Terry, you hurt my feelings, and I go, oh, and then I do it again, and you have to tell me again, it's like, okay, now I think if you don't want to just be a little confrontational, and I don't really want, I guess confrontational is not the word, if you don't want to be more of a direct approach to that person, then you're going to have to put some distance in between you and that person. Now, I do agree, Crystal, if you told me once and I did it again, and then you start making distance, then shame on me. But if you never tell me and then you just go away from me, I might never known that I stepped on your toes.
That's true. You
So
have to, and that's why it's important to be open and honest. I'm not saying always be so super sensitive and what's the kind of word I'm looking for, where everything makes you upset, or you're overly sensitive to everything, because sometimes you just have to kind of roll with life. But if
mhm.
someone is doing something that's clearly violating those boundaries, that's when you need to be an open communicator. And it's not what you do, it's how you do it.
Exactly. That's good. And you used another key word, Crystal: boundaries. Boundaries are so important. I have a posting in my office, and it says boundaries. What is a boundary? It says boundary is beware of what is unacceptable and normalize saying no. Do what is best for you, and know that it is out of your responsibility to sacrifice yourself for others. It is not your responsibility to sacrifice yourself for others. That's what
Well,
boundaries are. So
That's
that's
good.
a good word. Yep, I got that posted up there because I've had to learn that, Crystal. I call you Chris. Crystal. I had to learn that because I've had friends and I've had frenemies, and my frenemies tend to show their faces when I'm doing well. They disappear when I'm not doing so well. My friends have always been there through thick and thin, and it's
And
only. Mhm,
I want to add, if you're afraid of hurting someone's feelings that you know is clearly not your friend,
mhm.
they're not worried about you. So why should you carry that that load on your shoulder?
Why should you care, huh?
Right. I mean, if they are really, they know what they're doing. You really believe that they know what they're doing and it's not good. Not care or worry for 1 second about just letting them know, hey, I see you. I see you. And don't worry about their feelings because they clearly don't care about yours.
Yes, and that's true. So once again, we've got to think about us. We got to love us first. We got to make sure that we are comfortable in the situation. And, you know, friends understand, frenemies will not. So what kind of advice would you like to give us for closing out? And of course, I got my handy quote available. So what kind of advice would you give someone that's dealing with friends and frenemies?
I think that we should go with the advice of, I think it's in the Bible. Sorry, I'm not a Bible quoter, but it says if you want friends, then show yourself to be friendly.
Mm. That's a good one. That's a good one. All right. Yes. Thank you so much, Crystal, for taking a moment with Tyranny and just sharing friend or frenemies. And of course, you all know my quote for today is, you ready for this one? This one's a good one. Your mind is like water. When it's agitated, it becomes difficult to see. But if you allow it to settle, the answer becomes clear. So I'm going to say that one more time. Your mind is like water. When it's agitated, it becomes difficult to see. But if you allow it to settle, the answer becomes clear. So thank you, Crystal. Thank you, everyone. If you are not following A Moment with Tyranny, please follow A Moment with Tyranny podcast and subscribe. I appreciate you guys coming back every week. We will see you again Friday, 12 Central Standard Time, and we have another guest. So thank you again, everyone. Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you.